Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Stefan, and doing a weekly series here, or I think it's going to be weekly, we'll see, on my journey to get my pilot's license. And what I want to do here is basically run through the things that each week kind of that are working and the things maybe that I'm struggling with. And so if you're thinking about getting your pilot's license or are doing it, that certainly leave your comments down below, let me know, and kind of share kind of what you're going through. But want to just kind of go through some of the things that are working right now. What's happened as far as my journey, I started this a little over 2 years ago, actually over here in Wyoming at our Alpine World headquarters right now. Started out here, and there picked up a CFI actually on Facebook Marketplace. A fella, he was just doing it privately, and he had a plane that he was I was renting the plane from the owner, and then having the CFI come over here, meet me here at 46U, the home field. This is a public airport, but it's not suitable for like touch and goes, things like that. Actually, if you look at the chart supplements, they specifically tell you that that is discouraged, if not prohibited. So he would fly over here, and we would go do maneuvers, and then usually head down to Afton, which is about 32 miles to the south, to the municipal airport there, KAFO, and do touch and goes. So that worked out for the beginning. But then when we left for the season, basically kind of life got in the way, and ended up kind of shelving stuff for probably about a year or so. In the interim, what has kind of worked well is I actually did pass my FAA written exam. So did that actually before I ever even got into an airplane. The downside is now kind of what I'm maybe struggling with a little bit is being able to just doing some studying, and having to repass it, because as you know, there's a 2-year limit on that. And since I passed the exam and then started taking my flying lessons, that date had expired, so I've got to go retake it. But I will tell you now, the second time around studying, the good thing is a lot more prepared, just from being in the cockpit and flying, that being able to just kind of understand some of those things. That just make sense, that I knew from a book perspective when I passed the exam the first time around, but now to have to pass it the second time around so I can go for my check ride, that is it's a little bit easier, I think, this time. Certainly, yeah, let me know down below in the comments, if you're studying, if you've got some questions, or if you've got some things that you're struggling with there, getting ready for the exam. I'll certainly tell you, when I took it and passed it, the stuff that I struggled with was the VORs. I didn't do super well on that. Did do pretty well on most of the rest of it. Looks like we got some ATVs here. It's 4th of July. Fun watching the kids out on the dirt bikes. Anyhow, yeah, VORs, those were an issue. I think other than that, I mean, working with the the chart supplements, doing the mapping, stuff like that, that was good. Just doing all the calculations, weight and balance. I'm an engineer by trade, so that stuff was good. Anyway, I think this time around it's going to be a little bit easier, but I certainly want to do my best there and do better than I did last time. Perfect score would be nice, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, let me know down below if you're studying for the exam, or if you got questions there. Other stuff that's going well, was able to find flight school, doing that actually in Portland, Oregon, or actually in Vancouver, KVUO, Pearson Field, over across the river. So I found a flight school there. It was at Aero Maintenance Flight Center, and found a CFI. one of those things, as far as CFIs are concerned, folks are always like, hey, you got to find someone you mesh with and whatnot. And that's true. But I think for me, the biggest thing was scheduling, just so between work and whatnot, I could find someone that was going to be available, here for the duration to get me through to the check ride. So I think I've done that. That's worked out well. We're going to be back up in the airplane on Tuesday, once we're going to head back from Wyoming after the 4th of July. And then, flying again on Tuesday. Got a couple of lessons. I've been trying to do 2 days a week. Certainly, let me know down below, if you're taking lessons, what your experience is there. I'm finding just to get up a couple days a week is pretty good. Definitely one day, I just wasn't developing enough muscle memory. But 2 ends up, I think, doing kind of the trick without being an overload. One thing that actually has been an advantage for flying here, or flying out of Portland or Pearson Airfield rather, in lieu of, you could probably hear that helicopter in the background. Got lots of flight activity here, 4th of July. As far as Pearson goes, what ends up being a little bit better is that we're close to sea level, so a lot more lift being generated versus here in the summer. We're about 5,600 feet here in Alpine, so the density altitude, like on a day like today, is like 7,600 feet. So what's been nice at Pearson has been able to fly in a Cessna 150. Let me know what you guys, what are you guys training in? I had been in a 172, but the nice thing about the 150 is it's going to be a little less expensive. Fortunate enough, I've got my CFI. I think he's about 155 pounds. I'm about 160, so we're actually able to take basically full fuel, and we're going to be okay as far as being up in the air and getting all our flight stuff taken care of. So did have to excuse me, get used to the 150, but I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun to fly. I going into it, I had a couple of my pilot buddies who were like, oh, those things are kind of gutless, but on a flying at sea level with a couple of guys that are not super big, it's a hoot to fly. So that I would say definitely the 150, that's been going well. Let's see what else. Checklists, I'm feeling pretty good about just my flows. That's one of those things I think you just have to kind of get used to it. And I mean, obviously, checklists are different, for different airplanes. And so I, had to learn the 150, just switching over from the 172. But a lot of commonality there, so not a big deal. The nice thing that what I found there with the flight school that I'm using right now, and by the way, one of the things to kind of talk about too is I'm doing this Part 61. There's probably some of you folks out there that are doing Part 141, an actual organized flight school, but Part 61 is actually not a bad way to go. I think you have to be a little more self-motivated, and as far as getting through, you're most likely gonna have to do your own ground school. I do want to give a shout out here to Sporties. Let me know down in the comments, what you guys have been using. But I did Sporties for my original FAA exam when I passed that. And then I was actually really surprised because when I had to be able to, take it again, because I timed out here out of the exam because of the 2-year time period, I called them up and I thought I was going to end up having to pay additional, but they basically just said, sure, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and reset your course. Obviously I had to basically start from scratch and view all the videos, and then I'm doing the practice exams, the study sessions, things like that. But what I'm going to do here in the next couple of weeks is go ahead and get my 2 practice exams knocked out there. And I believe if you end up scoring, you have to score basically 80 or better on both of those, and then they'll give you the endorsement, and then you can go to your FAA or your test or PSI test center and take the FAA exam. One of the things that's going to be good doing it in Portland is I think we've got like 3 or 4 different locations versus when I took it when I was here in Alpine, Wyoming. I had to go all the way over to Pocatello to take it, so about a 100-mile drive. So that's what happens when you're out here in the sticks. But yeah, looking forward to taking that exam. I do like actually tests, stuff like that. I think that's probably just the engineer in me. Definitely getting ready for the 4th. So there we go. Little noise. Yeah, we're gonna have to get out on our ATV a little bit later on. So yeah, those are kind of the things that that's kind of what's been working well. What hasn't, what I'm struggling with. Actually, one other thing to add is landings. I think everyone out there struggles with those. We did do slips to land right before we came out here to Wyoming for the 4th. That's actually just a lot of fun. I practiced a little bit of that in the 172 when I started up a couple years ago. But yeah, doing it in the 150, that's a lot of fun. So on the landings, just getting that sight picture. And probably like you guys out there, guys and gals, there's just a lot of you watch YouTube videos, you do all this stuff to try to get ready, and nothing really prepares you until you actually do it, and you're going down the runway, and you gotta develop the sight picture. You got your aim point, where you're trying to touch down, and I'm feeling a lot better about that. So hopefully we'll be able to solo here in a couple of weeks. Yeah, just getting that flow in. We've flying out of Pearson, we've been busting out a lot of some the touch and goes there at the field. We had been flying out to Scappoose. That runway actually now is closed, which is actually one of the things that's too bad, because that's a municipal airport, or regional airport I should say, and it's a little over 3,000 feet of runway, so it's good for just doing some non-towered pattern work. Yeah, for the update next week, it'll be interesting, because on Tuesday we're going to most likely fly over to Troutdale, and which is a Class Delta airport, and we will be flying through. Actually, my CFI gave me the choice. We can either go around the Class Charlie airspace for Portland or go through it, and I'm electing to go through it just to be able to work more on those radio communications. So yeah, leave some comments down below if that's one of the things you're struggling with too. I think certainly the radio communications are not the easiest, but certainly it's a fun part of just getting the pilot's license, and just being proficient at that, so you can become a good, safe, professional pilot. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. Like I said, try to do this maybe on a weekly basis, so let you know what's working and what's not working, and we'll take it from there. Have a great 4th.